Welcome to Market Matters. I'm Jonathan Gan, together with Nadia, Hassan and Sulhi Azman. We bring to you the corporate developments of Bursa Malaysia today. So the market seems to be buoyant, setting the tone for an almost perfect week, Nadia, and if we pass tomorrow and the day after. So news on value, CAP's first tranche of money, perhaps another 8 billion. Are you sold on the story, Nadia?
I'm not sold on the fact that because it's October. And for all of you who follow financial history, October is a notorious month for the markets. 3 recessions have happened all in October. There's a reason why they call it an October curse. So yeah, basically the first week's going to go really, really nice. And then at the end of the week, bam, right up the end.
It's
Very
going
painfully.
to be scary.
You'll need
All right. Well, on that
a
note...
lot of hand cream. Anyway, continue.
What? Okay. Anyways, it's Suhi's turn to actually tell us the details.
Anyway, guys, you are right on the on that note. The market seems to be a bit greener today because they are maybe recovering from the many events. Anyway, FBM KLCI today closed up 27 points to 1,689 points, tracking performance of the regional index as well as the better than expected export data or trade data today. Now, today the government announced that the export rose by 1.1% on higher than expected sales of commodity, electrical and electronic products. Now, some 2.69 billion shares worth 3.214 billion ringgit were traded today, while 669 counters were closing up, while 229 counters were closed down. Now, the market today was also reacting and somewhat welcoming the statement, the strongly worded statements by the Malay rulers, which has called for the 1MDB debacle to be resolved immediately. There's also news, on the other hand, on TPP trade deal involving 12 countries, equivalent to 2/5 of the world economy. While the deal has been reached, each member country has yet to ratify it. And I understand that in Malaysia, you have to go to parliament to actually pass it all out.
Yeah. Oh, Obama too. Obama has to go through Congress, which are, of course, controlled by the Republicans. So it's going to be a while before this deal sees the light of day.
So the thing is that coming from a lot of economists, they're actually issuing a lot of comments saying that it might not be so good for Malaysia, but yeah.
But we have yet to see how it goes. Now, tracking the regional performance, now Nikkei 225 was up 137 points, and so as China Shanghai, which was up 15 points, as well as the Hang Seng, which was up by 684 points. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that, Suhi. So basically, up next, we have our hot stock of the day, which seems to be jetting towards privatisation, or maybe not. So we have AirAsia. Today up almost 5.6% with a volume of 107 million shares traded. So on the news front, basically, founders of AirAsia have basically...
Well, okay, the news was that there was a Newswire report, and the reason why you mentioned the founders is because the Newswire report indicated that the founders, meaning Tan Sri Tony Fernandez and Kamarudin Maranon, might actually privatize the company. And what they're doing now is actually they're shopping. They're shopping for bankers to see whether or not they'll be good enough to fund the deal. So this actually caused the share price to leap. It's been very actively traded anyway. I don't know though, this privatization story, this takeover story, it's very old when it comes to AirAsia.
Correct. So the rumours actually have been circulating about. I think maybe the media is running out of stories and we're just pushing out something.
The fact is, it's always been there.
Yeah, so everyone's favourite aviation analyst, Mohsin Aziz, has basically said that while the talk of privatization has been circulating for a bit, he's inclined to think that it's not probable because the share price has actually jumped about 58% higher from its recent low of 79 cents. So if you were to privatize, that would actually have been your prime opportunity.
Exactly. And the point is, this recovery that you saw in share price, it actually took a while. You know, if at any point in the middle, of course, they might actually come out with the report and suddenly prove us all wrong. But, you know, looking at it logically, if they wanted to privatize it, you had plenty of time at 90 cents to kind of do it. But Tony himself has actually said, no, why would we privatize? We still got a good, good thing going. Do you think, I mean, why would a company privatize?
I think they would privatize if they actually wanted to restructure. But I'm also noting the humongous costs that it will it's about to the tune of 2.8 billion actually.
And you have to remember the company has debts.
Yeah, exactly. So why do that? I wouldn't think it's...
Okay, if you want to relate it to the GMT research report, which actually caused the share price to tank, it may be because GMT's kind of like hinted that all was not right with the books. You know, they did that to Noble House, the share price never recovered. And all of this, right? Maybe if you take it private, then you'd have time to kind of organize your own house. But Tony has been adamant about the fact that you didn't want to privatize it. And again, if you did it at 125, it would be the same price that you went in with.
So on that note, Nadia, we actually have to wrap up. News on privatization for AirAsia has basically sent AirAsia jetting in the right direction in terms of share price. So we also see that GMT research and also perhaps the triple threat of the airline tragedies of 2014 may actually keep investors at bay. So let us clue you in on perhaps what would be moving the market up or down with our stocks with momentum segment. And we have another bright spot in the gloomy oil and gas sector, which is basically Petra Energy. So Petra Energy today actually rose about 10.3% to 1 ringgit and 29 cent. So in its most recent quarter, actually, its earnings rose about 84.5% to about 14.9 million. So pretty impressive, Nadia, I would say.
You say that, but I know that along with being a property bear, you're an oil and gas bear as well. You don't believe the story yet. Although the oil price did kind of go up, and that's why the currency saw a little bit of strength today. So Petra Energy is pegged with negative momentum by the Edge Research. You were talking about the share price is up about 10%. Maybe they think it's run out of steam because, like you said, the latest news was all the way back in August.
Right. So the thing is that, like you mentioned, I am an oil bear because today I was just reading some commodity reports from the World Bank. And I quote John Baffles, one of their senior economists, which basically said that despite the marginal increase of price forecast for 2015, large inventories and rising output from OPEC members suggest prices will remain weak in the medium term. So I think, and teeing up for Iran, which basically will probably...
They're opening their borders, aren't they, for
correct.
the oil part?
Because US will actually be releasing its sanctions on Iran soon. I think that a lot of oil is going to be flooded into the market. So,
well, Public Invest Research doesn't feel the way you do. They actually do still have an outperform on Petra. And they have actually sort of, to be fair and full disclosure, they've actually moderated the share price because they say things do still remain bearish. But I think in this kind of thing, and we've said this before, I've said this to you before, it's all about surviving. If you can survive the storm, you know, you can survive the hurricane. So let's see how this kind of goes. I mean, you cannot just sit there and think that oil prices are going to be $100. It's not. It doesn't look that way anymore.
Correct. And of course, to wrap up, basically, we feel that Petra is actually weathering very well the oil and gas storm, which is similar to Yinsen, which we covered on our show before. And based on evidence that we find, based on our findings, evidence still actually points to weakening oil prices moving forward. And perhaps it's a good time for value investors to actually take a look at the weak prices of Petra Energy.